Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Flying with Mike. Another week on hand. It's Tuesday. It's Go Fly. We are at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Dayton, Ohio, just outside of Dayton, actually, in a little town called Fairborn. Many of you may know the base for some of its other features like ufology or simply the Air Force Museum, which by far, folks, is one of the best museums I've ever been to for aviation. Um, Primarily U.S. Air Force, but there are some other little tidbits scattered about throughout the rather large museum. If you're ever in the Dayton area, you're an aircraft buff. I assume you are since you're here with Flying with Mike. Gotta check it out, folks. Dayton, Ohio, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Air Force Museum. Many bases have a museum, but folks, you may have seen them and wow, that was pretty good. Wait till you see what Dayton has in store. I'll do it this way. If you've been to Washington, D.C. and to the National Air and Space Museum, you're on par. It's that good, folks. So check it out, Dayton, Ohio. Anyway, Fairborn's over here. Matter of fact, I used to live right about here many eons ago. Got a nice, beautiful shot here of the ramp every morning. There used to be a squadron or wing, I'm not sure what the reserves called it, of F4s. Yeah, folks, F4s. I know some people out there love the lead sled. So, otherwise, I know Phantom, but some actually know for what it really was, a lead sled. Back in the 60s, this was B-52 land here, with an alert pin, the whole 9 yards, folks. So, quite a history here at Wright-Patt, let alone Dayton, Ohio is the birthplace of aviation. All right, well, y'all didn't come here for a history lesson or geography for that matter. Y'all came in here to fly with Mike. So, folks, grab your planes. We're in Dayton, Ohio, and there's the Chariot. And it's neat that X-Plane hasn't really looked into what Dayton, Ohio is today. They don't have those sitting there over here. But hey, it's a great touch. Great touch. All right, so there it is, the C40. Now, preface here. The C40 is actually a 737-700, otherwise termed BBJ. Now, the equivalent in the 800 world, folks, for the 737 would be BBJ2. So, yeah, little fictitious here, but you know what? Looks good. And we'll do the job for the day. Hang on, I just realized one piece of software was not running, and I thought I had it. Nope, it would have told me if I did, so it's loading up right now. Give me a second to get this loaded. It won't take but just basically what it takes to fire up smart cars. It's the ACARS system for Sim Air Force. Steven 9975, welcome in. Hope you enjoy flying from Dayton, Ohio. I never told you where we're headed. Maybe we're doing pattern work. No, sorry. We're going to Colorado Springs. The two actually have a similarity, if you will. And we'll get into that as we get ready to roll here. All right, it just came up. Give me a second to pick up that and that. And generate me a load. That's fine. 36. And all right. Okay, so now we're on the ACARS system with them. All right, the similarity between the two happens to be in the ufology world. Now I've really blown a lot of people out there. Of course, we all know, well, maybe we all don't know. the history behind Wright-Patt, when the Roswell incident occurred back in the late 40s, I believe it was, early 50s, it was first obviously brought back to Roswell Air Force Base, then to Fort Worth, and then right here, Wright-Patt, although not this base. There's actually three, I'll call them bases. One you can't even see. I didn't even know that about Wright-Patt for a long time. But the other two, B and C, yeah, you can see those. B is actually where the Air Force Museum is, and that's where it all went. This came next, Area C, not to be confused with Area 51. Well, I guess you could. I mean, there is some UFO stuff going on. Yeah, you never know. But anyway, um, and then this became a big sack. You may have also heard of it with the Kosovo. This is where a lot of the talks were taking place, and so forth. So the similarity here is, so there's a lot of UFO interest here in Dayton, Ohio. Now, how do we say that we're similar to Colorado Springs? They happen to be the headquarters for Space Force. That's right, headquarters. It's actually called Peterson. Used to be Peterson Air Force Base. Now it's Peterson Space Force Base. There's your similarity. That's not why I picked the two, folks. I just thought, what the heck, let's go out towards Denver. And I thought, hey, let's go to Colorado Springs. Happened to learn that. I do try to do a little research on the two places I'm at. If something like that came up, and that, folks, was completely, wow, caught me off guard that there are actually some little itty-bitty strung out, be it by flying with Mike himself, that wacky captain in the right seat there, but who knows? You know, they may be more tied together than we'll ever know. You conspiracy theorists are probably already whipping up something. So that's enough talk. Let's get into the plane, shall we? All right, so here we are, folks. Basically, 737-800. This is X-Plane. This is the free ZIBO. PMDG nuts, you're going to be pissed off because it's free. Yours costs a lot of money. This is free. So that's far as we'll go with that, but this is free. Just a mod to the 737. I'm just getting Sim Toolkit pulled up. There we go. All right, you can see our routing, folks. Pretty much a straight line to Peterson / Colorado Springs. Load today. Actually, fictitious also with the plane. I think the C40's maximum people load is like 70 something. And that's because they're set up, folks, for the high and mighty generals in the United States Air Force, Army, Marines, and Navy. You know, gosh, we can't have them fly in the cattle section. So, yeah, I know. I live right at Scott's second base with the most generals. Yeah, I'm in for a lot of trouble. Oh, well, I can live with it. But anyway, we got 153 people in this thing. We're cramming them in there, folks. FAA, please turn your head because we may not have some of them seatbelted. 35,190 pounds of payload, and you see the zero fuel weight. We've put 23,000 pounds in the wings, and folks, we are going to fly at 36,000 feet over an impending snowstorm here in St. Louis, and into, oddly enough, where it's not snowing, Colorado Springs. All right, so let's go ahead and pull Sim Toolkit away. And let's start buttoning up the plane so we can get to flying. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is pull up the air stair, then start closing doors. Give you a little shot out that one. Take a look out that wing. Not too bad.
Flight attendants prepare for departure. Cross check and all call. Thank you.
All right, and they are getting ready back there. So are we. Folks, we have pretty much got this plane ready to go. I think I'm out. Actually, I do have one thing. Stand by.
Final paperwork here should get you on your way momentarily. I want to thank you so much for your company and business. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Again, welcome aboard.
All right, so we got that taken care of. Back to home. Last things we have to prepare here, folks, is in the FMC. We've already got the fuel on board. You can see there's our zero fuel. We're going to go with a 5.4 or 5,400 pound reserve. Basically what that means is I'm going to have enough fuel to get to Colorado Springs. Oh wait, if Colorado Springs is below minimums and I got to go to my alternate, I got to have enough fuel to get up to Denver and have 45 minutes of fuel afterwards. So 5,400 pounds should do it. Cost index 80, 36,000. And we'll go to N1 here. N1, we're going to be using a Sim Toolkit. I'm sorry, not Sim Toolkit. How about TopCat? There we go. All right, so with TopCat, you can see this is probably more accurate to the max it would. And I even think that's overshooting it, folks. But anyway, we do have this 127.084, 127.1, which would show up here. Here's what our projected CGs are. Let's go to takeoff and click update. Maybe it's taking its time. I may have to manually enter it. Yes, Steve, it has. Yeah, it looks like I am going to have to cancel out. Oh, there it went. Okay, finally responded. Okay, 220 at 9. I'll get back with you just a second, Steve. 3 degrees Celsius, and we're 30, 18, or 10, 22, whichever world you live in, folks. It is dry here for the moment. Give it a day, it'll be white. Our current takeoff weight, well, let's see. Let me see what we're estimating out of here. 150, yep, that's close enough. We'll go with some engine wing ice on, and 32 degrees, folks, is what we're going to put in the FMC. And TO2. Now, that's going to yield our V numbers you see here. 149 for V1, 150, 155. Kind of keep those in mind, folks, because I really can't set the sim up. It's not a pop-out window. So for me to get it organized in a way that speed brake lever gets in the way, and I ain't going to move it to where they pop up. So just keep those numbers in mind as I push over. Okay, so takeoff 2. Sorry about that. Didn't want to cough in your ears. All right, so TO2 and 32. Yeah, we'll go with climb 2. Basically, what's going to happen as we climb, will reach the numbers in our N1 here, that it would be equal to climb 1, and it'll switch into climb 1. Likewise, by 20,000 feet, we'll be in climb power. Just a way to save a little wear and tear on the engines, folks. You taxpayers pay enough in taxes, don't need to keep buying an engine every other day because they want to play fighter jets with the cargo planes. They do not have afterburners, guys. Many of them, no, I'm just kidding. Actually, they're pretty professional, so. But I do have to poke fun at them sometimes. If I didn't, this wouldn't be Flying with Mike. All right, so the winds, we'll go to that page, 220 at a 9er. All right, now they have a slope of -2. Let's see if it works. D 0.2 slash, and the runway heading is 233. Oh, one other little piece of history. Well known to the folks in the world. I got my private pilot's license here at this airport. Well known. Because they allowed me to be a terror in the sky. So, and I built a lot of time there. Worked at the Aero Club while they had the Aero Club. It was really, I really enjoyed my time in that capacity at Dayton. The rest of the area, other than the Air Force Museum, was kind of rough on me as a latter teen into my 20s, and yeah. Anyway, that's a whole nother story for someone else's stream. All right, so we got our, oh, it did take. Okay, so down 2% or 0.2% for the slope, and we got a 233 runway heading. Everything looks good there. Let's go back. Selecting flap 1, and the reason, folks, for flap 1, folks, this is an 11,200 foot runway. Pretty sure we could no flap it out of here, but we're gonna play by the rules, put down a layer of flaps. All right, now remember I told you to remember those numbers. Well, actually, they're not far off. Did I select what? Hang on. No, I did not. Okay. Only reason I'm saying is because that'll take, oh, it's 148. Okay, that's not bad. 149. 150 is what we had, and 155. Go ahead and make that 150. So, and then you can turn the QRH numbers off by just clicking that. There you go, folks. Sorry, Airbus guys going, yes. Boeing guys are going, I can't believe you called it that. All right. All right. Got to remember this different plane. All right. So let's set the MCP up here. We said 155. Set it for 165. Or there. 233. Yep, that's right, folks. They allowed me to fly there. Actually had a lot of fun. Built up quite a bit of hours. Not as many as I'd liked, but you know, I got more than I would have ever imagined out of the Aero Club there. All right, we are set on the MCP. We have the peeps coming in behind us. And let's get up here. Move this to APU Gen. DC volt. Okay, just making sure. Altimeters. And we are set to go. Last check here. Landing gear lever down. 3 green. Yaw dampers on, speed brakes are up, flaps. Okay, flaps are up. For some reason, with the latest version, I keep coming in and the flaps are extended already. And I can't figure out where to fix that. I'm going to have to go over to Zibo and say, hey, need a little help.
Light slow. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear.
Never heard any of this, folks.
Terrain. Pull up. Obstacle. Obstacle. Pull up. Airspeed low.
Oh, that's it? Okay, cool. All right, so we've done our GPWS. Folks, we're ready to roll. Let's take a look one more time outside. Chocks are still in. How you can tell without having to do that, you see the cones around the airplane? Dead giveaway. So we'll get rid of the chocks. And oh wait, I'm not online. Hang on a second, folks. Forgot to get online with VATSIM before coming on with y'all. So bear with me yet another couple seconds and we'll let y'all get a nice look at the bird while we're finishing up the paperwork, as we said. Call it 945. Okay, and okay, flight plans filed, connecting. That was RCH 3018. All right, we are connected. All right, now I saw some comments from Steve that I wanted to come back to. Hang on a second here. Let me do this, then this. There we go. Now it's a lot easier. Couple of things I was trying to fix there was, one, get my ACARS running, two, get my flight plan loaded. And at that point, wasn't sure what I was trying to fix. I'll be totally honest with you, Steve. But it's an FMC, man. Yeah, X-Plane 12, that's where we were, is looking great. And as we alluded to in the beginning, folks, this is a free mod to the 737-800 that comes with X-Plane when you purchase it for $60. Actually, it's less than $60, folks. You get that plus, I'm sorry, I know a few YouTubers out there will tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, but it is not comparable to PMDG. Oh, yeah, it is, folks. There might be a few bells and whistles PMDG has, we don't. Vice versa. We have some, you don't. And it's free. That's the big one. So, fantastic that it's here. Love it. Very few problems with it transitioning from X-Plane 11 to 12. Once the team over in the Zibo world got it compatible, still went through a couple little issues. We had a trimming issue. That fell more on me than the aircraft itself, and I got the correction, and I appreciate that team for pointing it out to me. So, folks, it's free. So, I'm sorry you paid so much for everything to get the PMDG. All right, so with all of that said, but yes, it is indeed one really good plane. And see, even Steve says it. You know, I've flown PMDG now. To the credit of Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, I haven't bought 2021. I don't make enough flying with Mike to afford it. But anyway, and then PMDG on top of it. But I can tell you from past versions of PMDG 737, yes, it's a phenomenal product. Do not let me in any way tell you it's not. But I do believe ZIBO outdoes it in many ways. And I'm sure there's a couple features in PMDG we all in the X-Plane world wish we had. But boy, for free and what we get, it's hard, really hard to go that way. So enough of the muss-fuss X-Plane wars. We're just going to get in the, although we are in the right kind of a plane for a war. But anyway, we are in a military plane. Just kidding, folks. You guys with muss-fuss, I hope you enjoy it. I really do. And in all fairness, it's just not for me. From the company Microsoft to the product, it's just not for me. So I'll just leave it there. All right, so you all see the route again. I am going to switch one thing here in my timers, if it isn't already. To Colorado Springs, so you all can start seeing the weather we have coming. All right, we're ready to fire up. All right, so we will not be pushing back. Welcome to the world of the military. Funny story. Working at Mid-America Airport, we had a military DC-9. C9 is what they're called in the military. From the Navy come in. And no, I'm not poking fun at the Navy. A lot of respect for them. You can land on a carrier in the middle of the night with a deck pitching like they are. You got all my respect. I may call you a dumb fool, but still, you have my respect that you go up against that. But anyway, he came in, parked in our jetway. The people got off. Oh, there's actually a few funny stories with that same flight. But as he was waiting for him to come back from Scott Air Force Base, he asked us, so how am I going to get out of this gate? Because remember, they don't push back. They don't even power back at their bases. Like back in that day, folks, DC-9 727s actually used the thrust reversers and powered back instead of a pushback tug. He didn't know there was going to be an actual tug hooking up to him. It was quite comical for the moment, and probably lost a lot of flavor and context there. So how far back did we figure? 2015, I was in the DCS stuff, a computer change, and something I had done and made 2 accounts or something like that with them, hosed it, and blue screened every time I got to doing any fun. So I got really kind of upset with just nothing but blue screening. So I haven't been back since. And I don't know if I will, because really I am more of a cargo transport guy. I know the 130's coming. But I really don't have a lot of fun flying the fighters. Especially since it takes so long to learn the systems, to know how to use them, when and where to use them. And the actual nuances with each of the different types of weapons. Some of them take X amount of seconds to come off the rail, which I didn't know back then. and so forth. So I just, it just kind of got on me. Then I had trimming issues with the aircraft then, which somebody told me believes was a known bug and it was never really expressed. So I kind of just wore me out and I just kind of left it. So, but folks, if you're into combat simulation, check it out. Digital Combat is wow. It's unbelievable. And you got to get the right download, because if you don't, you can't do all the multiplayer stuff. But then you may blue screen more than the, it just, it got too much. Musfuss is called Musfuss for a reason. DCS could very easily include DCS Musfuss. Must fuss with it to play DCS. So no, I'm not trying to poke fun, folks. I just don't have a lot of fun with fighters. So all right, so we're gonna get this firecracker fired up now. All right, so we can turn the hydraulic pumps. A and B are on right here. Fuel pumps, get them all turned on. Don't think we have any in the center, but let me double check. Oh, we do. Yep. Okay, get the center pumps on too. Any collision light coming on. We're not going to arm the auto throttle, and we're going to do the engine start. All right, now let me get to wrong angle. Let me get to an angle to explain how you start a 737. It doesn't matter if you're in the real world, if you're in ZIBO, or if you're in PMDG, they all start the same way. Turn the packs off. Well, turn the packs off. APU running. Make sure you're on the gen. Make sure you got the bleed air on and all. Up here, you're going to see at least 30 on your PSI. Why is it falling? All right, well, hopefully we got enough pressure. We'll find out. Crank them. And now we'll start number 2. Go to engine, which in the real plane happens automatically. And it's building. That's good. $18, so we can add fuel. And here comes the fuel flow and light off. Okay. Actually, a few weeks ago, folks, with this plane, we did a no APU start. That was a trip, and I would have to do it again with someone because I don't remember all that I did. But it involves revving up whichever engine you start. Okay, packs are off. Cranking number 1. Okay. After 17, but before 25% here on N2, move the fuel lever up. Fuel's on. EGT, your exhaust gas coming up. And folks, we have good light offs. Okay, now technically we have a 3-minute warm-up period, which by the time you finish up the engine start, after start, and taxi procedures, takes about 3 minutes. All right, so engine 1. All right, so now we would go up. We've got all the hydraulics up and running. Okay. Go to Gen 1 this time. And probe heat's on. Anti-ice, we're going to go with engine. and wing. Isolation valve to auto, packs to on, or to auto as well. Okay, and don't forget to bring your gens on. Then, because if you don't and you do this, in a few minutes, all of a sudden everything's going to go bloop as you lose electricity. All right, taxi procedures. Flaps, 1. All right, and we are ready to go. We'll go ahead and get some of the before start done so we can just do a roll and takeoff. Okay, taxi light on. And keep the wing off for now. Coming down the list. Landing lights, ATC. Click, 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 click. I didn't notice that. Real quickly. Wrong one. 1630. $12.70. Just getting frequencies in there, folks, make it look better. And go ahead and throw KC in there. 11325. We are set to go. Auto brake. All right, we're ready. So bring it up here. Taxiing to runway. Two, 3, right. All right, so not bad, folks. 40 minutes and we're on the way to the runway. And we'll do a few more checks en route. Okay, the big ones I want to do, we got to do control surface. Now in this plane, folks, you can go to status. How do they have this set up? Oh, they have us going around. This must be construction. Again, real quick. Okay, granted it doesn't look like it, but my house would have been about right, actually apartment, right about that where my arrow was. Every morning I could look out. Anytime I wanted, I could look at Wright-Patt. I love crossing red lines because you're not supposed to in the military. All right, so let's do the surfaces, aileron. And the reason I do this, folks, is mainly to make sure I don't have an aileron. When I go to the left, sometimes it snaps and it really makes it hard to control. You know, working an approach by hand. Okay. All right, and we can blank that. And no, we're not using bad words. All right, takeoff procedures, position lights, everything's set. Heading bug for runway. Lower ECAM blanked, and let's go ahead and get the engine on top here. There we go. That would be down below. RNAV, may not get VNAV. Not getting any of them. We have a discontinuity, I think, somewhere. Oh, I know why VNAV. Never mind. I figured it out. All right, we're crossing. This runway actually came into being in about 1983-84 time frame. And it was nothing but a taxiway at the time. They just beefed it up. Now, I think they've gone further since I see what looks like, oh no, they have a PAPI on it, but my Aero Club used to be old alert shack sitting right here. And I don't mean for B-52s. They were for the fighter wing, or fighters that would be on alert support. Today, instead of B-52s over there, it's a big test wing. They test a lot of things that get implemented into the aircraft, much like Edwards, but it's more systems. And yes, airborne laser was tested there. I remember watching it take off and land in the KC-135 or 707 version. So a lot of stuff you'd expect. It's a big test wing base. Area A or B, whatever they call Wright Field, is nothing but testing. If you want to say alien components, go right ahead, because guess what? You hadn't seen them prior to. Who knows? But yeah, fun place. All right, let's get the auto throttle up. Brakes auto, and let's see now if we get VNAV. Nope. Do we get an LNAV? No. What is our discontinuity? Ah, there it is. Now let's see. Hey, we got VNAV. There we go. We may not get LNAV because it is a straight shot, and anyway. All right, we are ready for takeoff, folks. Takeoff is very simple. Now, the checklists will say 40% throttle up to. When stable, go to toga. And it will limit to wherever the arrows are here. In this case, 89.1% N1. What I do, I go to 60%. Now, you're going, but that's not what the checklist said. Correct. However, eye candy, however you want to say it, look how easy it'll be to tell when they're stable just glancing over instead of trying to figure it out at 40. Yeah, it's, a little bit of a stretch, but folks, it actually is pretty a good system. Wright-Patt traffic, reach 3018, departing 23 right. And we're going to do just the intersection departure here, folks.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Okay. Lights on. Collisions up. Here we go. Look at that, how easy it is for cross-reference. We're good. Toka.
Knots. V1, rotate. Positive rate.
Okay, start nosing over a little. Seeing if the other base is visible. Should be right here, and it does not appear to be, unless that's it over there. Yeah, it does not appear to be modeled. Back there's ours. That would be right about in here, so it's not in the scenery. Okay, flaps up. RTO. And I'm going to go direct from here. There we go, turning on course. All right, folks, and we are out of Dayton, Ohio. Hope you all enjoyed. It's good times anytime I come in here, either be it with Piedmont out of Dayton International or out of Wright-Patt like we just did. Fun times. Fun times. Who knows? Maybe we'll go to where I shot a lot of touch and goes. Actually, several airports around here that I did that. All right, as we climb out, we're through 8,000. Auto brakes off, engine starts, will leave, and all the way up to cruise. Okay, so we're good. So hope you all had, like I said, a great weekend, folks. Hope you're, well, if you're living in the Midwest, be careful, be safe with the snowstorm coming up out of Texas. Hopefully predictions are off, but more than likely, of course, we know they're not. So stay safe. At least, thankfully, with this one, not a lot of cold air with it. That's coming this weekend with another system. So hopefully that one doesn't bring in a lot of fluffy stuff with it too. All right, now let me switch into the center here. I have this screen, folks, set up for radar. This is set up terrain radar. So just so you have a feel for what we're set up with here. And we are now through 10,000. I am not comfortable with the speed it wants us to come up to and climb. All right, so how do you change that? Hang on, let me get here. Okay, I'll get it right yet. All right, so we don't want 340. We're bumping that, so... Now, we're going to climb like a rocket here for a second as we come off that. We're coming back now to 325. See, we're going up at nearly 4,800 feet a minute. And what I'm doing is trying to lessen this climb because that's way too steep. Okay, there's climb 2 still. We'll be switching to climb 1 here shortly. Okay, and we're coming up on 18,000. 18,000's where we'll set them to standard. To do that, folks, all you do is click STD here. All right, folks, we are climbing now. We're looking at about a 2.5-hour run. As we get higher, that number is going to come down sharply. So we'll probably, once we hit top of climb, which is only 10 minutes out, maybe at the most 15, we'll be at or under 2 hours out. There's our call for transition. Set. Cross-checked. All right. On we go, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, we'll level off now at our cruising altitude. We're going to go ahead and turn off the VATSIM seatbelt sign. I'd like to quickly ask if you are staying in your seats to keep those seatbelts comfortably fastened for your safety. Onboard computer showing an on-time arrival, no ATC delays either. We're going to stay quiet up here, have you enjoy the flight and the service. Once again, welcome aboard.
All right, folks, we have reached top of climb, done our checks, which was simply turn the seatbelt sign off, wing lights off, and make the lovely announcement you heard. Currently looking at, hang on a second. Well, it would help for me to be in the right mode here. Wow. Still has us at 2 hours, 29 minutes. I can't even tell if we're moving. Well, and there it went, folks. Made a liar out of me. I was expecting us to be closer on times. Maybe it did. Anyway. But anyway, folks, we're on our way. In about 2.5 hours, we'll be over in the Denver area. So enjoy the ride, folks, as we fly over the snowstorm in the Midwest and into what appears to be, if I mean, 9,000 broken's not bad in Colorado Springs. As long as the word SN is not in the METAR, we're in good shape. So we'll keep the music rolling. And we'll be there in a few. Enjoy the ride. All right, folks, back with you. Just kind of myself sitting back, relaxing as well as we go through the songs. Notice that OBS disconnected, so those of you on the streams, if you were here, I hope you come back. I really can't. I have no idea what causes it, so I'm beyond getting upset anymore at it. It's just ridiculous. And the funny thing is most of my problems cure up when I come off stream. So yeah, I guess that's what Twitch wants, is to get rid of people. That's how you do it. So give them all these troubles with their network, and they go elsewhere. And I know a lot are, so they are leaving Twitch. A lot of partners I've heard have left, and that's a sad thing that they won't fix their network. So, but anyway, enough of that. We're on our way. If you had interruption, folks, I can promise you this. Once this releases on YouTube in a couple of days, you'll be able to see it start to finish. Guess what? Without any interruptions from good old Twitch. Maybe I shouldn't say good old. Anyway, enough on that. Will be nice. All right, so the center tank has emptied out, so we'll close those up. And again, thanks for those now joining, since it looks like it disconnected, reconnected. Thanks for joining us. We're about 45 minutes into the flight. We got, as you can see at the top there, about 2 hours to go till we get into Colorado Springs. Now, ground is up in Colorado. So we'll, who knows, maybe we'll have center by the time we got there. I thought we were going to be dealing with Kansas City, but I never heard them chime in. And I can, so the other thing that's interesting though, and this is why I don't want to put all the blame on Twitch. Every time I seem to have troubles, I see a voice server error come in on VATSIM. So, not really sure what is causing all of these disconnects, reconnects that occur so often on my stream. And all I can say is, folks, my apologies. But again, in its entirety, it will be on Twitch, or I'm sorry, correction, YouTube. And, you know, at the rate things are going, I may just go to YouTube. I don't want to bail on Twitch just yet if it's not their fault. So, anyway, we will continue on, folks. Let me just do a couple checks here, though. All right, so we are on the Sim Air Force map, and folks, I have it in the title, but if you would type in the chat area, I'm going to do this once. On YouTube, on a video, we don't stream at YouTube, so on a video, I am curious if these show up. I would doubt it because we're not live, but you never know. Oh, but anyway, we're on our way, folks. So enjoy, and I hope y'all enjoy a grand day. Yep, I do see that we had another disconnect reconnect with Twitch, so who knows. So yeah, that means we're gonna have several videos out there, folks, or VODs out there for each one of these. Again, my apologies, and again, you will see it in a couple of days on YouTube in its entirety. And for those getting multiple emails, I hope that's not happening. I really don't know what's messed up with OBS here. But yeah, we keep disconnecting. So my apologies, and I hope you all can forgive for all of the disconnect, reconnect, and if you're getting a lot of emails. All right, so we'll just kind of continue on, and again, if it keeps disconnecting, folks, I can't blame you if you leave the channel. Really can't. I'd like you to come back, but if if it's like me, it's frustrating too, because I'm gonna have to go in and try to put this all together somehow into a VOD. I don't know. But yeah, Twitch and me are not on best, or at least OBS and me. We're gonna leave Twitch out of the equation right now. Me and OBS are not very happy together. So anyway, folks, enjoy, and I'll keep my comments to myself because they are much stronger than you have all heard. So we'll be in about 2 hours into Colorado Springs. All right, folks, we're back with you. We're just under 2 hours, about an hour and 50 minutes out. So we're going to begin to put together our arrival. So let's come down here, and at the same time, I'm going to pull up our charts information. And again, for those that have been, wondering why we're going on and off the air, folks, this all started up again with a Twitch outage that happened about a week or two ago. I don't know if it's Twitch causing it, OBS coming. I am looking at my stats in OBS and don't see it. So I am just at a total loss what's going on. So, but anyway, again, YouTube will have it in its full entirety, not split up into 90 gazillion VODs because of whatever is going on with OBS, Twitch, whatever. All right, so there you have Charts 8 up here, folks. And I need to click Follow Me button. That puts it centered on me. That way you can see where we're going. KCI right now. Over to Hill City, Golden. And then on to the Aussie 5 arrival. All right. Now, there are some things I'm starting to like about Charts 8, I think we're on. Overall, I don't know. I don't know how to, I can't do a review because I can't even put into words what I miss from the other one. So that there in itself says a lot. So yeah, we have stuff missing that was really golden in the other program. But they don't ever ask us, the users, what we want. They just take it from whoever. So we'll just use what we have to. All right, so again, we're using the Aussie 5 arrival. And the Aussie 5 is real simple. We're going to fly off Golden to Hugo. Hugo to Dane. And then set up for whichever runway we're on. Looks like right now by the ATIS on VATSIM, the 3.5s. Now, I flight planned for 3.1. I didn't even look to see what kind of approaches we have, so we'll see here. Let's okay. Now there's the 3.1, it's an RNAV. Okay, and with the weather conditions that I've been seeing, folks, it doesn't look too bad. That's a possibility. 3.5 right would be my other preference. Well, let's kind of look at it. Okay, so we have to come down to Drake. Do the 22-mile arc, almost 23-mile, and join the ILS. Okay, that's a possibility. Let's take a look at the RNAV, same thing. RNIP, same thing, except cuts us in closer, really closer. Wow, cuts us into almost 6-mile final. So, yeah, that's really thoughtable. Let's go up here and look at the 3.1 approach. I think it's doable. But But I could see with the 3.5s are active, this being a departure runway, and this being a departure, this being a departure, this being the arrival. Could see that in a heartbeat. Well, let's take a look at SimAware again. All right, so you know, part of me is really thinking about this runway. Hang on, let me bounce back. 8269. See, we got to fly over it though. Okay, well, you know what? We got about 50 miles to go. What say you? You know, all right, let me one more time look at the weather here. All right, we are going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and do the RNAV unless told otherwise by ATC. Just checking altitudes, folks. Okay, so what we've done, and we'll bring up charts here if it's, yep, I did take it down. Okay, we'll bring up charts so you can all get a feel for what we're flying here. Let me do this the correct way. All right. Okay, you saw how we programmed it. Let me get back to progress. And we are now 400 miles out of top of descent. All right, so we're going to fly this Aussie 5 arrival. Let me hide this. Okay, again, we're going to come over Goodland, I'm sorry, Goodland, Kansas. Come down to Glitter, Crew, Doors, and Hugo, all at these altitudes. Okay. From Hugo, we go to Aussie. That's 14,250 knots. Mind you, look up here, folks. The airport is itself 6,100 feet in the almost 6,200 MSL. So 14,000 feet is only about 8,000 AGL. Okay, so keep these things in mind with these stair steps down. Okay. A Dane, we're going to expect either 17 left, 17 right approach. Guess what? We're going for 3-1. Okay. Now, from a Dane, we go roughly 12 miles to Zenner, to Nutiv, to J-Toll, and in. All right, let's dive deep into this approach. Okay, this is an RNAV approach. Now, if we were in the 727 newer KC-135s, I think would be okay. Say you're flying Air Force One, unless they got this kind of avionic equipment, folks, you may not be able to fly it. But anyway, keyword may. Because this is not RNAV, they're not RNAV equipped. Most military planes don't have FMCs, they still run INS. Just the newer stuff has it. So, or newer mods to the planes. But I'm sure they have a way around it. All right, so ATIS. This is not a D-ATIS, so we can't look ahead. I can only use what's on VATSIM, which I have. 125.0. There's our Springs approach, tower, and ground. This is the frequency for the equivalent to our localizer on a ILS. Final approach course. Thing with this one, folks, we may not and probably will not have a glide slope to work with over here like we're used to. So this is when you're going to have to really pay attention to your descent rates. Feet per minute, that is. Okay. Now, final approach, 307. We'll start that at Nutiv. Okay, J-Toll is, I believe, 6 mile final, 7,800 feet. MSL. 1,600 feet, roughly, AGL. So, our MDA. This is what is the MSL equivalent of basically they're the same height we're seeing here, folks. One's just reading at MSL, the other is reading AGL, equivalent in that they're the same above the ground that you'll be. Just one reads as if you were looking at the altimeter. The other will read as you look at the radar altimeter. Okay, so 6440 on the altimeter, 284 radar altimeter. Okay, you all can read the missed approach. Okay, again, a Dane. We're not on the V108 eastbound, so this is not applicable. So we come south 174 to Zenner, which is the initial, over to Nutov. There we come inbound on the approach. Nutov will be 8,600 feet, MSL 7,800 at Jadal, and then we begin our descent from Jadal to the runway. That's what this chart is for here. Depending on your vertical speed, well, to set your vertical speed, which needs to be at a 3.04 degree angle, depending on approach speed, folks, this would be equivalent to what you're going to show for your descent rate to stay on that descent path. We'll get to that in a minute. Actually, in a few minutes. We're still 400 miles out. We'll get in closer before we revisit this. All right, next up here is our minimums. Again, altitude-wise, 284 AGL, 600 or 6,440 above sea level. Again, bold is the altimeter reading in the box here. Parentheses will be the radar altimeter. So as I'm coming down, if the radar gets to 200 and I don't see the runway and I'm not climbing, shame on me. That's pretty much what that says, folks. But 300, I don't see the runway. I only have about 14 or 16 more feet to go before I need to see the runway. I'll probably be getting ready to do a missed approach. Okay, so we are a Category C, 7/8 of a mile. Oh, sorry about that, folks. All right, and there you go, folks. The missed approach procedures are right here again. Just picture it, make it as a picture. We only are going to have PAPIs on the left and runway end identifier lights. Actually, looking at the minimums, I don't think we're LP. I think we're LNAV. So our minimums just went up, folks, to 6,560 MSL, 400 for AGL. And we're looking at 1.1 miles, so we need even more visibility. So we'll do some study work. I need to figure that out. That's interesting. All right, you can see we're coming into Kansas City right now. We're a few miles out, to be exact, 53. And let y'all listen to the music a little longer, and back with you here shortly. All right, folks. Well, we got a little bit of time here. I like to do a little time here uh, with a little bit of the verse of the day that we put up. Otherwise, why do we put a verse of the day up if we're not going to talk a little bit about it? But today's verse, folks, uh, actually impacted me pretty decently, pretty harsh, pretty decently, I mean, a lot of different things came over me reading this verse and then an interpretation of it, or what we call a devotion, um, which is merely just a uh, uh, commentator's opinions, commentators' thoughts, and things for us to think about. And today comes out of the book of Acts. It's the Acts of the Apostles. This is what comes after the death of Jesus, and we move on. In this book of the Acts of the Apostles, we're at chapter 4. And in chapter 4, we just saw, before this verse, Peter and John heal a man at the temple. The temple priests and all were a little bit outraged and all that they did this, and were not going to rebuke them on sight, but then behind closed doors they began to plot against them. And I take that back. They did challenge slightly, and telling them basically what they said here. But Peter and John answered them, whether it is right in the sight of God to listen to you rather than to God, you must judge. For we cannot but speak of what we have seen and heard. Folks, that right there, I've been wrestling with a lot of things here lately with the stream and all. I'll confess to you. Do I keep it going? Do I not? Do I change up things, or do I not? And this was one area I looked at. But you know, it says a lot right here. Whether it's right in the sight of God to listen to you, those who would be naysayers to the stream when I do devotionals like this, rather than to God. Folks, that's you that has to judge that, not me. For me, I'm sorry, correction, back that up. For we cannot but speak of what we have seen and heard. And folks, I've seen and I've heard a lot of amazing stories out there. As Christians, we can't contain what we experience as from Jesus. I mean, folks, I have seen some things that when I drove a truck, there were a few things that happened that, oh, you all would probably just sweep aside as coinkydinks or coincidences. But no, folks, they actually, to me, were miracles, be it minor. I don't, put them up there with healing someone, with illnesses and walking paraplegics. But I mean, in the situation I was in, it was a miracle. And it's amazing. We can't help but tell others about what we've heard. And that's what I do here, folks. Folks, what I've seen, what I've heard with Jesus, I'm commissioned to do this. No ruler, no threat has been able ever to completely stop the voice of God from being heard through his people's witnesses. Meaning, no matter how much people try to influence us, to stop, to influence us, even to the point of in politics, taking things out of context, using the Constitution as their basis when they're out of context with it. Again, no ruler, no threat has ever been completely able to stop the voice of God. God is gonna get heard, folks, whether you like it or not, through people like me. Sharing our faith happens out of overflow and the experiences we have in Jesus, through the relationship with Jesus. So when we share our faith in this way, our authenticity of our witnesses, you can reject, you can ridicule. Hey folks, it's a free country. But know this, it can't be erased. People of Christian background, like myself, have experienced God's work in our lives. And I mean, I've seen, oh my gosh, what I've seen is, I mean, just mesmerizing. You want to talk about it, folks? I got a Discord channel. I'll talk to you there. I'll talk to you here on stream if you'd like. Or I'll talk to you in private. Whatever. I would love for you to meet my Savior, Jesus Christ. So, as the Great Commission in its encapsulated form says, how dare we keep silent when we can't? So folks, that's why I do what I do here. It's not gonna stop if I stop. God's gonna find a way to get at you and tell you, hey, I'm here. And when God does leave you, I'll pray even harder for you, because now you're in an area where, you know, your eternity isn't going to be quite what you'd hoped. Remember, we all are just a fleeting moment in this world. We all return to dust. It's our souls is where they go. Our spirit, our soul, where does it end up? Gnashing of teeth, fire, or in the presence of God. So folks, if you want to hear more of what I believe here, if you've never met Jesus Christ, I'd love to be the one to open and introduce you to him and walk with you. So again, just remember, no matter how much we try to not speak of God, we can't, folks. We just can't. So it's just so much we've seen, so much joy through even our hardships, folks. Just because we became a Christian doesn't mean, well, these goody two-shoes just are never going to experience any pain. Well, folks, we experience a lot of pains, a lot of tears, a lot of anguish, and just set our hopes on Jesus Christ and that which is beyond. So, thank you for this time. Again, I try to keep it to about 5 minutes or so. I thank you. God bless you. I hope you all have a blessed week. And be into Colorado Springs in about an hour. So enjoy the music. Okay, folks, as you look at the panel here, again, this is not radar, weather radar. This is terrain radar. So we're getting into a little bit higher country, and as you can tell, we're not seeing much at all, if anything, on the radar. I'll be honest, I don't know how that all works with X-Plane. But to me, what I see cloud-wise from X-Plane, what I see and experience weather-wise, folks, is phenomenal for default. But if I want more, like, you know, when I used to fly in a century of flight, yeah, that takes us way back, folks. I literally flew by cumulonimbus as stated in certain charts that are out there that Active Sky pulled from. Folks, you pay for Active Sky. I do not expect that in a default. Folks, people's machines can't handle that. That's why if you think your machine can, you get Active Sky. So, but the balance they've come up with here at X-Plane only gets better with each release candidate or beta candidate they release. Just gets better. And I am thoroughly enjoying the weather that they have here. I've iced up twice into St. Louis when we had the big snow event earlier. Snow and ice with cold air. Oh my gosh, was that rough with Tolus. And I really still don't know what I did wrong, if anything. And again, we're in beta, folks, so you can't really say it very well could be the plane, because you're in beta. Everything's in beta. And the aircraft that are available, while they are in general, they're still kind of in flux too, as they work to get it through the different seasons that come with the each beta and release candidate put out by X-Plane. So you're bound to run into things like I have. Unless you're like some that just fly where it's sunny and 70 every day and no clouds, no weather to deal with, and hey, to each their own. You know? Okay, we're 273 miles out from starting the Aussie 5 arrival. Correction, starting our descent beyond to coincide with the Aussie 5 arrival. The only precip I show on the map itself, folks, you can see it south of us, which, by the way, mirrors pretty close to our route. Yeah, I don't find it very easy unless I'm on here to find it. So it's down in here. You can see KMPR and these airports, you know, where the precip is falling. So, I mean, ultimately the radar is showing properly. It's just, you know, what METARs are they going off of and all of that good stuff. Frame rates seem to be holding in the low 40s, so I'm happy with that. Looking at our map, we're flying over Manhattan and Salina, which when I drove a truck is about as far west as I would normally get before they turned me back east. on occasion, I did pop a California or a Utah. Nope, I did not go to Colorado. I went through it. So, but yeah, usually, and I call that the I-35 line. Now, I know I-35 runs up to Kansas City, but it gets up to Wichita and cuts over. So if you take from Wichita, continue due north and west, that's about as far west as I would go. East, that's as far west as I would go on average. I mean, if you look out there, folks, the clouds do look pretty good. Let's get out of the plane. All right, so there you go, folks. It looks like we're doing pretty good on the frame rates. Let's get up here and see just how much further we got. About 230 miles. So enjoy the ride, folks.
lost in old ways.
I'm not ready.
Well, here goes nothing. They talk about another kind of work. Another kind of work.
What are you afraid of?
I'm lost in old ways.
I'm not ready.
Just listen.
All right, we're about 130 miles from top of descent. Let me revisit my radios. 1510, 1370. Okay, so number 2 is set to Goodland, Kansas. While number 1 okay. Think we're pretty well set here, folks. We'll be at top of descent here shortly. Probably over Goodland, Kansas is my first guess. And then we'll start down for the arrival. Are we getting into clouds? Oh, just hazy up here. Okay. All right, folks. One thing I put out last time, a couple people actually talked to me, one in person, the other on a private message. Last time I put out a call. If you have, those of you listening to me, a pair or a destination you'd like me to go to, hey, we're all up for it. Hawker threw in some major mileage runs. Over 9,000 miles, I think all of them were. The longest routes in the world right now. Active routes, meaning they're actually flown. I know Delta in aircraft news is getting ready to start service from Los Angeles to Auckland. Folks, that's a whale of a haul too. So, and I think it was A350s on that, and an additional Atlanta, was it Atlanta? I think it was, to Paris in the 767-400s. So again, those were mega hauls. JFK to Singapore, JFK to Hong Kong, and so forth. Those are hefty runs, folks. I'll be totally honest. I can do them and have flown them out of a stream situation. With the way streaming is right now, I would never dare it. I'm not even sure I'm going to stream across the pond with what's going on with OBS and the disconnects. So even though I did a warm-up to it with the 747 not long ago, by the way, anyone in the sound of my voice curious? April 1st. And no, it's not an April Fool's Day joke. April 1st, they have a cross the pond, the return of whichever way. I'd have to go to the site and see. So check it out, folks, if you're interested. It'll be wall-to-wall ATC and pilots. I mean, whew, last time we watched it was incredible. I think it was, oh man, I'm not even going to lie to you, folks. I don't remember the numbers that came in, but literally the North Atlantic was green with both controllers, and airplanes. Unreal. So those of you that did it, love to hear from you. And those like me thinking about it, I want to hear from you too. I got a lot of checking to do before I even think about even telling you all I'm going to participate, because, you know, I may have to work that day, which 90% of the time happens. So it is what it is, you know, and I'm fine with that. I'll fly it another day. And sometimes that's not a bad thing, folks. So, but yeah. But folks, if you have other routes, I have a couple in mind. You've seen them. Go to the Twitch about page. You'll see my week ahead for us. This flight, Oakland tomorrow. We'll be going from Anchorage to Oakland, not in X-Plane 12. Putting that out there now. So don't expect to see X-Plane 12 tomorrow because of the elevation issues with the scenery in Anchorage. We will not even try to depart out of there. We'll use X-Plane 11. And then finally, we've got a, believe it or not, yes, you saw it, folks, an A330 flight coming. Where was I going with that? Where is it? Hang on a second, folks. Let me get to it real quick. Oh, Toronto, Canada to San Francisco. So another pretty decent run. And then that'll pretty much wrap up scheduled streams for the week. There's always a chance that I may try another one, but again, I don't know what my schedule's going to be like Saturday, which would be the only other day. So there could be a surprise coming. And there may not, because I may not have. That's why I don't want to get too immersed in what Saturday is. So, a lot of good flying, but tomorrow is Anchorage to Oakland. And hopefully the Pineapple Express, is what the weathermen deem it, has moved either back to Pineapple Country, which is Hawaii, or into the country, U.S. Okay, we are 84 miles out, so let's go ahead and begin setting things up, shall we? Alright, so for the descent, I don't think I ever took the engines off continuous. They are still there. And I never, oh yeah, I did put them in auto, okay. Alright, so all I got to do is set our descent altitude, and we'll do that at about 30 to 40 miles out, and then we'll begin our descent into Colorado Springs, folks. Folks, if you like what you've seen, like what you've heard, God bless you, and I'd love you to smash that follow button. If you're listening in on YouTube, subscribe would be awesome. But anyway, folks, love having you aboard, and hope you all have a great day as we begin to set up for our arrival into Colorado Springs. All right, remember, folks, this is an RNAV approach that we are hoping to fly. We don't have ground anymore. We don't have any. Ooh, what's going on here with VATSIM? Let me refresh the screen, see if that stops it. There we go. All right, so yeah, no ATC now. Great. Well, sometimes that is a blessing. All right, looking at my chart. Okay, just getting things set up here. Actually, I want to make sure Goodland doesn't have an altitude restriction. Okay, it does not. Yeah, that would stink. It's 28,000 though, our first fix. So, let's see what we have coming ahead. All right, and now, for the most part, folks, if you're flying the older aircraft like the 727, the 747, and so forth, where you can VOR to VOR, yeah, you could have done this route that way pretty decently. Until you get to this RNAV approach. I would recommend doing one of the ILSs, but you're the pilot in command. This is flight sim, folks. You don't have to fly real world procedures, real world rules, unless, of course, you're building up, practice in certain areas. And I know a lot of people that do with the sims, and then, of course, you will. But yeah, I mean, it's flight sim, folks. I've been doing this for 5 years, and enjoy every flight that I've done, folks. Even the ones that end up not so well. But you know what? We will put it on YouTube. I will not delete it. I figure, you know what? It's a sim, folks. It's not meant to perfect flight every time. So, perfect flight every time is when you're actually in the real plane. Because if you crash into a real plane, it's a lot worse than in the sim. Okay, let's see. Okay, top of descent is off of Goodland. You can see it starting to come into view. Hang on, let me up. Right here. Goodland's right here. Again, these returns here are ground terrain radar. Okay, as we get closer to the mountains, you will begin to see them showing up here in the distance. Now, I may draw the distance down too, so we get a better feel of what's actually ahead of us. VATSIM wise, we're at right here is our arc, and we got 40 miles to here, so pretty much anything within this arc to here we'll see. On the scope, within about 10 miles or so of the plane, we'll visually see, unless it's nighttime. And believe it or not, at night you can sometimes see them a lot farther away. Although we were picking up one, I think it was the Allegiant flight down to Sarasota. That was about 15-20 miles behind us. We were picking up the contrail. So that's not bad, folks. I mean, remember, 10 miles was as far as you got. So, I mean, to get it out to 20 is better. Visual. So, boy, that is one mean storm. Or I should say mean looking storm. Okay, we are 15 from Goodland. Now, how this initial works if we were VOR to VOR instead of FMS, We'd come off Goodland at 242 and Crew intersection, which looks like to be 52, 53 miles ahead. We then would intercept 241 into Hugo, and then we go out towards our Aussie. Okay, now there's a couple of ways to do this descent. We can push the altitude intervene. We don't have much time. Or go to the descent page, click descent now. We'll do it that way. All right, folks, we are starting down.
Folks from the flight deck, we've started our descent. Should have you in the ground in about 15 minutes. Want to thank you so much for your company and business, and hope to see you again with us sometime very soon.
So glitter is 28,000, crew 27,000. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set for 27 now. Go. And continue down. The next one is Doors at 23 and Hugo VOR at 17.
Rear seats to please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign has been switched off.
Okay, folks, I believe we have a contrail out there from United 574 off in the distance, and that's probably a good 20, 25, 30 mile away. So we'll find out here. Let's get on TCAS, see if it's showing. Nope. So, I mean, pretty interesting. Okay, 28,000. Let me see my leg page. Okay, that's what it should be. Okay. All right, let's set up our arrival. Okay, 133.5. Hang on. Let's use a tool, folks. All right, wind. 010 at 19. Temperature 2. QNH. We have to put it in with the decimal 2998. There we go. AC will be on. Anti-ice will be on. Okay, landing weight. 133,400. Okay, so what we've put in here, folks, is something that Zibo has. Now, I think PMDG has something very similar to this, but don't quote me, don't have it. All right, so this is our performance. So we're out of, let's pull up, hang on a second here, folks. Let me pull up charts. We're running 2,520 meters. So auto brake 3 will put us off about 1,760 meters down the runway. I wish I could get it to say feet, but it won't. And we're looking at a VREF of 147. That's VREF 30 plus 5. So 142 may show up over here. But this also shows you about where you'll be on the runway if you touch down where you're supposed to. I think it's pretty cool. All right, so let's come back over here. Okay, 143. Oop, oop, oop. Go back. Hit the wrong button. There we go. 30 by 143. Yeah, we're lighter now. Again, folks, you can update this at Hugo because you're pretty close then, and you may grab a couple, but it's saying 142 probably about right now. We'll see how it gets. All right, so we are set up for the arrival. And did we pass cruise? Oh, we sure did. Michael. We need to be coming down to 23. We're going to set for 17. All right, so because of not being fully set up there, folks, that's why we're a little behind on the descent. We'll make up for it here, hopefully. And our runway, our nav, is beginning to show up how far away. As promised. Let's go ahead and shorten this up so we can see better. Aussie will be at 14,000. Actually, we're going to take over. Bus drivers, we'll call this Airbus drivers, that is, open descent. The only really good thing is I love this arc in Boeing. It gives you an idea where you're angled at as we come in. $2,998. Now, one thing, folks, those of you familiar with Airbuses, love to hear from you on this. How do you set up for being able to preset your, if it's even possible, altimeter for when you get to 18,000? Transition. Love to hear from you in the comments. Discord, love to learn. 61 miles from the runway, but we got some turns to make. Oh, excuse me, folks. Get the auto brake set up here to 3. Auto brakes 3. And at Hugo, we're going to continue the descent to 14 so that we can come across Aussie at 250, actually 240, and 14,000 feet. Okay, remember I preset to 2998, folks? There we go. Click standard. That's what I'm trying to figure out in Airbus. Okay. All right, so we're direct Aussie now. We're 14 miles out, slowing. We're gonna ease up the pains here a little bit. That'll help us to slow as well. Okay, currently no ETC. All right, so we are set up here, folks. Okay. You can see a little bit of the texturing that's coming up on our terrain radar. All right, folks, so we're getting ready for our second descent here. And I'm going to need 9,400. We don't want to go below. Okay, attain. Got it. Down to, got it. All right. Let's go ahead, bring it down. May have to do it as open. Gonna go ahead and kill the music. Perfect. That's where we want to. Actually, 96. Then we'll turn and come in to hit Zellner at 8,600 and slow up to our approaching speeds. Starting gear. Hang on, let me get the spoilers back up. Okay. Again, folks, I hope you're enjoying. Smash that follow button if you're liking the content. Would love to have you on future events. Tomorrow will future flights. Tomorrow is Anchorage to Oakland. I believe we're gonna fire up the 767. Who knows? Maybe I'll call an audible. find out. Interesting, I am beginning to show signs of a glide slope. Huh. Although that could be coalesced to here. We'll have to kind of pay attention here, folks. Right now, again, can't stress it enough. This is not weather radar. This is terrain. So now you're starting to see the Rockies. Little chunk. That might be Pikes Peak. Don't know. Not very familiar here. Nothing on the radar over here. Let's go ahead and dial that one down too. Okay.
1,000 to go.
Okay. Here we go. Folks, we're going to be shooting an RNAV approach into here. And our initial approach fix is Zener. And then our initial fix is Nutiv, and our final JTOL. Okay, we're going to begin to slow to 210, 220. Using level flight as much as possible, folks. Changed it only slightly. Okay, we're going to come down 1,000 feet. And then at 8,600 feet, this is Zener. Let me go ahead and give it one more. This is Zener. We'll then track over at 8,600 feet, slowing to 160. Flaps, gear. As we turn in on the final, I want to be fully configured for landing. Even though it's a good 11-mile in, doesn't hurt. Well, we'll keep the gear up till JTOL. Okay, coming up on our fix, the initial. Colorado Springs traffic reach 3018. Crossing Zener. Initial fix for RNAV 31, full stop. Okay, like I said, slowing to at least 160. 142 plus 5, 147. Okay, spoilers armed. I like to go back here, make sure they're not deploying. Okay, we're at flaps 5. Let's go to, oh, did I click twice? I did. Okay, that's fine. We're still good if it's 160. I'm gonna try this. Not letting me. I don't know how to get it to capture.
VATSIM to go.
Okay, I don't know how to couple onto this, so we're gonna have to hand fly it here in a minute. Flaps 30, we're set up. Okay, and got the run. Okay, we are fully established and descending. Colorado Springs traffic, reach 3018. Jadal inbound, gear down, 3-1. Airplane's mine. Got a 010 wind. 100. Where did that come from? Got a tailwind like nothing here, folks. That came out of the blue.
Thousand feet, stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
So that must be a different METAR playing on this place. Okay, we are on slightly the numbers.
500, approaching minimums. 400. 300.
Stable landing.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Knots. Out reverse. Get on the brakes ourselves. And welcome to Peterson Space Force Base. You think I'm joking with it, folks? Look it up. Colorado Springs traffic, reach 3018 clear, 312 Peterson ramp. Well, I forgot the landing lights again. Oh well. Let's see if it's gonna kick on. I think this is base ops right over here where we're gonna park. But folks, it's been a blast flying this. We'll take a little bit more in-depth look here in a second. Take these in the back. Welcome again to Peterson. Shutdown procedure is pretty simple here, folks. First off, want to make sure the APU bleed is on. And radar off over here. Transponder to standby. That's right here, folks. Okay, and all right, going up here, state trim. Let's make sure that's at 4. And you know the funny thing, I have to give Airbus credit here, folks. I know a lot of you go, no, this is the U.S., we're Boeing. No, Boeing kind of gets it wrong here. I like that I can go to this page, the flight control page, and see my trim if I need to. So in this case, I don't. I mean, really, ultimately, I don't. But you know, it says set it for 4. I'd like to be able to know that I'm 100% at 4 instead of interpolating a gauge. Position lights steady, land probe heats off. Okay, we'll come up here, hit them, de-ice off. Speed brakes, flaps, retract. All right, now. Okay, okay, get back up here. APU gen on. Okay. Bleed on. Seat belts off. And then come on down to the start levers and shut them down. This is what I really hate with X-Plane. They will not see, they just will not stay. There they go. That's my biggest pet peeve with X-Plane. Don't get me wrong, I've got pet peeves with FSX, a century of flight when I flew it, so. All right, so we are shut down, folks. Like I said, welcome in. Let's put the chocks out. And I need to get the beacon off. All right. There you have it. Let's critique the landing here as we close out. Seeing the beautiful Rocky Mountains in the distance. All right, let's get in here. First things first. Okay, got the PIREP filed. Give me a 1 second here, folks. I always like to find out that it actually did go over where it's supposed to. Okay, and it did. All right, now Now for the fun, as they say. Let's take a look here, folks. First thing I'm going to do, because I always forget, I'm going to disconnect from VATSIM. I always forget. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. It will fix it for me. It'll just disconnect me when I go into replay mode. All right. While I'm here. There. All right. Sim Toolkit's the animal we use. Coming up. See that storm, folks. Look at that. Wow. All right, we got a, I didn't catch it. Look at that storm heading for us here in St. Louis. Whew. Man, that looks ugly. Look at the storms out ahead of it going towards Houston. Actually, they're through Houston, headed to New Orleans. Yeah, it's a pretty violent storm, folks. Not violent, very very strong. So you look at that comma. All right. Anyway, we need to finish the flight, and we did. Now we go into the flight, view the details. This brings us the short, the quick, the good stuff, fast on the landing, 128. Here's what we like. The full report. All right, so here's all of our metrics for this landing. Pitch 3.4, 159. I wasn't off the power quick enough. But we only hit at 1.2 or 1 G, folks. I mean, barely touchable, and 128 feet a minute. That's a pretty good landing, folks. Then let's look at the visual portion before we go to the actual video. Blue line is the threshold. Now, this is not a precision runway, folks. So we don't have the nice hash marks going down. We do have the aiming point. All runways should have that. So you know where a good point is to land on that runway and have plenty of room to stop. In this case, we were just under 1,500 feet. Left by about 12 feet, so that's a little, you got to be careful getting too far over, because then you could run into troubles with edge lights and all that good stuff. But overall, this is looking like a great landing, folks. All right, lastly, let me make sure. Make sure we'll be able to do this. Hang on, because it gets pretty finicky. Okay, terminated the flight. Let's verify. Ready scenery. Okay, looks like it should work. Let's find out. Worst case scenario, folks, we won't be able to see it again. We'll see here. Hallelujah. Hey, there's the airfield. We are getting tossed about again, out of the blue tailwind, folks. But we were able to successfully bring it in. high speed, it looked really good. Okay, replay is doing some funky things. Nice brass landing. Yeah, it's really, elevation-wise, really rough, so. Well, we're having a little bit of replay problem with it. Not bad, even though we were fast, not bad. Let's see if we can wake up Hawker 125. Alright folks, well that was really good landing views. We'll do one or back one last time for the tower. Alright folks, there you go. Fun flight from Dayton, Ohio to Colorado Springs, otherwise Wright-Patterson to Peterson Air Force Base. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I did. Weird wackiness here on the ramp, you know, we got here, but overall, not a bad day. Folks, tomorrow we're out of Anchorage in X-Plane 11, mainly because of the scenery issues up there with X-Plane 12, unless they release something. We'll be flying to Oakland, so I hope you all can join us. Hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday, as tomorrow's Hump Day. So we'll see you tomorrow. And, you know, remember this, folks. Whether it is right in the sight of God to listen to you rather than to God, you must judge. for we cannot but speak of what we have seen and heard. That's Acts 4:19-20, folks. Hope you all enjoy. God bless. See you tomorrow.